Warm greetings from the high 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans. Thank you for joining me. This information is late pertaining to the murder of Young Dolph and the murder of Takeoff. I'm bringing you information pertaining to suspects apprehended and charged in their deaths. Thank you so much for joining me. The first commentary is Fox 13 Memphis. Young Dolph, fourth man arrested in connection to his murder. MPD says. Thank you for joining me.
He's an arrest in the Young Dolph murder case. In fact, we have exclusive video of Jamarcus Johnson being taken into the Shelby County Jail. He's now the fourth person accused in the assassination plot. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Daryl Green. Fox 13's Dominique Dillon is live at 201 Poplar right now. In fact, she was the only reporter there when Johnson was led in handcuffs, Dominique.
Yes, over an hour ago, we watched Jamarcus Johnson get taken out of an unmarked SUV. Then we watched the gang unit walk him into 201 Poplar. Earlier this afternoon, Memphis police posted Johnson was wanted for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder in the killing of Young Dolph 1 year ago. Sources tell Fox 13 News Johnson surrendered a few hours later, proclaiming his innocence. Our sources also tell us Jamarcus Johnson is the half-brother of Justin Johnson, who is already in jail charged in Young Dolph's murder. What we're still working to learn is Jamarcus Johnson's alleged role in the killing. The other three people charged in the case are all accused of murder, attempted murder, and conspiracy. Police have only listed a conspiracy charge against Jamarcus Johnson thus far. That could indicate they don't believe he played an active role in the killing, but allegedly assisted in the planning. We checked Jamarcus Johnson's criminal record, but couldn't find any previous cases here in Shelby County. But again, tonight, Jamarcus Johnson is here at 201 Poplar, facing a conspiracy charge in Young Dolph's murder. That arrest coming just a year after Young Dolph was gunned down. Back to you.
That is Fox 13's Dominique Dillon. Thank you, Dominique. We'll see you later in the newscast. Meanwhile, several other people are also charged in connection to the murder of Dolph. Hernandez Govan is charged with planning the murder. He was in court yesterday. He pled not guilty to all of the charges against him. Justin Johnson and Cornelius Smith are both charged with first-degree murder. And this man, Shundale Barnett, is charged with accessory after the fact. There is a first-degree murder warrant out for his arrest. Barnett was arrested with Justin Johnson earlier this year in Indiana, but he was later released, and they haven't been able to find him since.
So basically, 5 suspects. 1 after the fact, and then 1 conspiracy for planning, the last one mentioned. This other information is ABC 24 Memphis. 4th suspect in murder of Memphis rapper Young Dolph. This is Jamarcus Johnson, the one we were just speaking about here. Sorry about this information, almost 2 weeks ago. But I wanted to give you this information for those who have been following the content and on my network. Thank you so much for joining me. He's going into court. Not a nice looking fella. Raggedy hair, dreadlocks.
Morning, sir. I'm doing fine. How are you doing, sir? Mr. Johnson been indicted by the grand jury charged in indictment 2204769 with conspiracy to commit felony to a first-degree murder. Mr. Johnson, if you are convicted, and I'm not suggesting you be convicted of anything, but if you are convicted of that offense, it carries anywhere from 15 to 60 years in prison. Now, do you understand what you're charged, sir? Yes, sir. Mr. Johnson, you have an attorney. Yes, sir. Who's your attorney? John Corman, C-O-R-A-N. Corman? Corman. C-O-R-M-A-N? A-N. C-O-R-A-N. He's probably Corman. Corman. Is your family trying to hire Mr. Corman? Yes, sir. I talked to Mr. Corman a few minutes ago because I was told that he thought your lawyer was somebody that talked to Mr. Corman, and he did tell me that your family has been in contact with him. They have not hired him yet. They were supposed to meet with him this afternoon at 1:30. Your co-defendant, Hernandez Govan, is set on December 16th. Ms. Corman asked you to set your case on that same date for an arraignment setting for an attorney on December the 16th. So I would set your case on Friday, December 16th, to give your family a chance to get Mr. Corman hired. If you come by the court on December 16th, Johnson, if you tell me that, Judge, we are not going to be able to hire an attorney, I will appoint someone for you, sir. Do you want the time to get Mr. Corman hired, sir? I'll see you back in court on Friday, December 16th, to make sure you get the lawyer hired. Thank you, sir. You said back in the die. For the record, it's unrelated. It is a related matter, actually, that is not on the court's docket regarding
Wow, wow, wow. He's escorted out. Gang unit escorted him in. Very interesting information. So he's going to try to get an attorney. One's already, I guess, available or had to consult with him. The 16th of December is his next court date. I'll bring you that set information. That'll be coming up here shortly. Very sad situation. I believe Mr. Johnson, who was already incarcerated, wanted to be moved to a detention center because he knew Govan was coming in. And I believe he's possibly given information about Govan. And he knew that when Govan was to come into the jail, they possibly would be seeing one another. And that wouldn't be a good setup. Don't you find it interesting that Johnson wanted to be moved the week before Govan was indicted on said murder charges of Young Dolph? You can read between the lines. Justice for Young Dolph and his family. Amen. I'm going to now bring you commentary pertaining to Takeoff. Thank you all so much for joining me. Just a second. This was 5 hours ago. Accused Takeoff killer appears in court. Fox 26 Houston is the source of this information. Let's see what we can find about this.
Accused of shooting and killing popular rapper Takeoff in Houston last month appeared before a judge today for the second time since he was arrested. Fox 26's Gabby Hart joining us live from the courthouse with the new details we learned in court today. Gabby.
Yeah, Jonathan, this investigation has been the talk of the nation. But today, that suspect's attorney saying that they don't want their client to be tried in the court of public opinion, and they plan to fight to make sure that he gets a fair and unbiased trial.
So we just ask that everyone keep an open mind and let the system do its part and let the Constitution do its part. And that is, right now, he's innocent until he's proven guilty.
Attorneys for 33-year-old Patrick Xavier Clark spoke out Monday following a preliminary hearing. Clark is charged in the shooting death of Migos rapper Kershnik Kari Ball, better known as Takeoff.
Witnesses we need to speak with, and just doing our due diligence to make sure that Mr. Clark's constitutional rights are protected every step through this process.
Still some work to be done on it.
During a press conference Friday, Houston police announced his arrest. We learned that Clark had a trip booked to Mexico and had put in for an expedited passport as well. He also had a large amount of cash at the time of his arrest, but his attorneys say it's not what it seems.
There's other circumstances surrounding that. That was something that was already pre-planned, and it was canceled before he was arrested. So I think that's important. He wasn't trying to go anywhere.
Detectives say out of 30-plus people at the scene of the November 1st shooting, everyone fled before giving a statement, leaving them to rely heavily on videos and forensic evidence to make this arrest.
We had to rely on a large volume of video surveillance evidence that came in, and cell phone videos and audio, things that surfaced over time in some cases that weren't available immediately. We had to sift through all of that and use physical evidence and use shooting reconstruction.
Another topic of discussion in the courtroom was Clark's bond conditions. Previous court documents listed Jay Prince Jr., son of Houston hip-hop mogul Jay Prince, as one of the people Clark should have zero contact with if and when he makes bail. Jay Prince Jr. hosted the private party at 810 Billiards and Bowling, where Takeoff was shot and killed. Prosecutors asked the judge to revise the bond conditions and remove his name from the list. The judge agreed. Yeah, just a couple of hours ago, I spoke with the attorney for the Prince family. He told me that their name was removed or will be removed because Jay Prince Jr. had nothing to do with the shooting of Takeoff, and the names never should have been in that document in the first place. As for that suspect, he is being held on a $2 million bond. His attorneys say they plan or they have already asked for a bond reduction hearing. Of course, we'll keep you up to date.
Let's go back to that information about this Jay Prince. Hold on a minute.
He told me that the judge to revise the bond conditions and remove his name from the list. The judge agreed. Yeah, just a couple of hours ago, I spoke with the attorney for the Prince family. He told me that
go back a little more. Hold on.
Billiards and bowling, where Takeoff was shot and killed. Prosecutors asked the judge to revise the bond conditions and remove his name from the list. The judge agreed.
Interesting.
Yeah, just a couple of hours ago, I spoke with the attorney for the Prince family. He told me that their name was removed or will be removed because Jay Prince Jr. had nothing to do with the shooting of Takeoff, and the names never should have been in that document in the first place. As for that suspect, he is being held on a $2 million bond. His attorneys say they plan or they have already asked for a bond reduction hearing. Of course, we'll keep you up to date and continue to keep you posted on this case right here and on our website, fox26houston.com. For now, I'm live in downtown Houston. Gabby Hart, Fox 26 News.
Very interesting information. Very interesting information. So they don't want their name on bond papers or document papers pertaining to this guy who 9 times out of 10 you all do know him, because why would he be at this party? Because it was a private party, so that means he was invited. Unless somebody called him after the fact to come up and just stand around outside of a bowling alley. You're entitled to your interpretation of the information. We knew that surveillance cameras at this certain establishment outside, because it looks like an open mall with several floors, that would be the clincher to finding the people. I think it's sad that all these people fled the scene and nobody, naturally, you don't stand around with a shooting, of course, but nobody, wanted to talk to the police, because that's the way it is, snitch rule. But here is a talented young man, snuffed out, gunned down, visiting another city with his uncle, Quavo, and so many speculations, innuendos, countless of YouTube videos of accusations of who did it, why, but he doesn't look like the guy who everybody was saying did it. So I find that information interesting. So where is the guy that everybody was pointing the finger at that had the backpack? What is his role? That alleged cam person, because they don't look nothing alike. Different complexions, weight difference. And I thought it was strange when I saw this information about this young man. I said, well, that doesn't look like the guy that everybody's pointing the finger at, because you can't tell when you're not there, you're not on the scene. You're getting a glimpse of somebody's video from a cell phone. It's nothing like being somewhere real time to see people actually engaging in an argument, confrontation, seeing the suspect pull out the weapon, another suspect pull out a weapon, and you're there to see it play by play. Standing behind the people with a cell phone, it's not the same. So kudos to this police department for doing the diligent work to get this scumbag off the street. If there are any more participants, we will see if he tells on anybody, or if it was an actual orchestrated hit, or just somebody jumping in trying to defend somebody. We will see. As you hear, he has his own attorney, Miss Quinones, nice looking lady. So how did he afford to hire you? I'm curious. What does he do for a living, ma'am? Will you reveal that? What he does for a living? The fact that he had an expedited passport. For what? What was he going to do in Mexico? But let you tell it. Oh, there's an answer for why he had a lump sum of money. So what was that amount of money? Where was he going? Oh, he just carries a lot of money. Perhaps he did. Perhaps he did. But then you let us know that it wasn't what we thought. Why he had this expedited passport and a large sum of money. He wasn't going anywhere. The plan was changed or different, whatsoever. You're a lawyer. You know how to use fancy words for bullshit. Thank God this situation is nearing a resolution. This information is by Fox 26 Houston, uploaded 5 hours ago if you are curious to this information. And you can see other information basically saying his defense attorneys, he was not trying to flee. Yeah, okay. Back to the Young Dolph situation. I'm wondering if somebody has been talking, and I do believe Mr. Johnson is one of the little Tweety birds that has given up Mr. Govan. And then you see the fourth suspect, who was supposed to be somebody that was only conspired against Young Dolph allegedly, He's a half-brother of Mr. Johnson, who was already in custody. This leads you to believe a year or so later, all these different people being arrested, somebody's talking. Somebody told on somebody. And Gova's in cahoots, I believe, with Yo Gotti's brother, if I'm not mistaken. I stand corrected. If I need a correction in the video, I will put it there. The point is, all of you all know each other. And why would you all put a hit out on this man? What has he done to you? Is this gang related? It's affiliation related. It's record label related. It's I don't like your set. I don't like your friends. And see, that's what people don't understand about hanging with people, being related to people. You may not be down with some of the things they're doing and saying, but because you know them, you ride with them, you hang with them, you're around them, people will group you as being affiliated with anything they've done, said. It's the way the world is. And you are judged by your company, sadly. I mean, you can speak to people like them, but who's to say one day you're standing on a street corner talking to somebody and then somebody sees this person they have a problem with, and you just so happen to be standing there. You don't know what they did yesterday, 5 days ago, but then you're gunned down right alongside this person. You didn't have a dog in the race. That's the world we live in. And it can happen anywhere. Different races, backgrounds. Doesn't always have to be gang related that a person is gunned down, killed, mistaken identity. Things go bump in the night because we have a lot of selfish people, mean-spirited people, people who just pop off, and other people are just in the way, collateral damage. Prayers to Young Dolph's family once again. But I do believe this Johnson character has talked, and that's why we have these new arrests of Govan and his half-brother, another Johnson. And in the case of Takeoff, amen. Thank the police department. They have done a wonderful job by bringing this case up to date. And thank God for this arrest. And we will see if there are any more arrests pertaining to the death of Takeoff. If indeed this was just somebody wanting to defend this Prince family or its constituents, one of the brothers. I do believe the brother, this Prince Jr. fella, this was your family's party, whomever's party it was. And I don't think you have much feeling inside of you, perhaps. I tried to give you the benefit of the doubt at the beginning because I don't like judging people without seeing things in real time. But things could never be the same between you and Quavo because that was his nephew. And what can you say to the person? Your company killed his nephew. What could you say? And the fact that somebody would pull out a gun on your behalf or whomever shows you were in the bad company and you chose the wrong type of people to hang with. And the wrong element was at this party. These weren't dignified African-American people who are living it up and doing well and have enough sense not to be carrying guns and shooting at people because two people have a disagreement. That's not how you handle things. What you do is you stay out of the way and you let the people who are arguing or disputing handle their business. Why pull out a gun on behalf of somebody else? If indeed you did that, sir, you were wrong. And now you're having to pay the piper. $2 million bond, you ain't going nowhere. They ain't gonna let you out. And if you can come up with $200,000 to get out, if indeed they will let you out, that would be interesting. That means you have some serious resources. And 9 times out of 10, people are going to be wondering, what are those resources? What in the hell would you be doing for a living to afford $1 million bond, let alone $2 million? Just saying. Sadly, this man lost his life with a bunch of thugs. And some people don't feel like he shouldn't have been there at that party. You're entitled to your opinion. At first I said, well, he's entitled to go where he wants. But he thought he was going to be safe. Private party. Maybe there was security there. He had his own security. But it didn't work out in his favor. And sadly, other people were wounded. Because once again, you're dealing with thug mentality. So it don't matter that people walking around with Gucci bags and bling bling rings and bracelets and necklaces. That shit don't mean nothing when your mentality is still of a thug punk wannabe bottom feeder. All the Gucci bags, Louis Vuitton, all that type of stuff don't mean nothing if you don't know how to act and conduct yourself. You don't have any empathy. You don't care for mankind. You don't care for others. It doesn't mean anything. It never has and it never will. And sadly, some of those people that were there probably have the same mentality. That's why they fled and never called the police and said 2 words. And I'd like to know how many people did they contact and how many people gave a statement. That should be very interesting. Now, Had this been some other race of people, they've been glad to stand in front of the camera to say what they saw, what they heard, who pulled out a gun and shot. Imagine that. If it was some white people and they saw a shooting, you know damn well they would have pointed out the person from head to toe, what they had on, how fast they were running, which direction they went into. And that's not to be racist or any type of way. It's just telling the truth. You see people as witnesses to crimes every day on TV, other races, they have no problem telling the truth. But in this type of situation with a so-called family that allegedly's got stuff going on and running things allegedly, people didn't want to talk, possibly fearing for their safety. And I get that. But it just shows you how different people act and behave. All those rumors circulate, videos made on YouTube. And this was not somebody I ever saw pointed out as the killer. Imagine that. Hope they got the right guy. Thank you for following the content. Like, share, subscribe. If you want to donate to this great network, Everyday Shenanigans, $Beganji, 129 Cash App. All stickers and chats are welcome during my live streams. God bless all of you. Happy holidays. Please check out The Queen in Mount Magic Christmas, starring Dolly Parton, Willie Nelson, and other stars. Jimmy Fallon, Billy Ray Cyrus, Miley Cyrus. Thank you so much for following the dream. You all be safe out there. This is Everyday Shenanigans.